Perfect. Moving forward, we will avoid, I believe this to be the third Wednesday at 9 a.m., third Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m. So apologies for that. We did not realize. But by the time we noticed, we thought, well, we've already got everything lined up, plus record and post the meeting. So hopefully that'll work out for you folks this month. In terms of regional abatement, great news. We have all the reporting in, which is awesome. We really appreciate that. We understand some of these things are new, and everybody's getting used to how you report to us and how that.
Office mental health.
And if you can go ahead and mute, that would be helpful. Thanks. So thank you for reporting. This means that we have a very clean process in terms of moving forward for 25 payments. So we anticipate getting started on that right along here, doing those calculations, and then our finance unit will turn their attention to that in August. So that's exciting news. Other than that, the opioid settlement fund grants management, we don't have a lot else to update or share with you. If there's any questions regarding that, we can take those at this time. Otherwise, Dina Holmes is from our certification unit is going to be talking about, I believe, the LGU step in the certification process.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good morning, everybody. I recognize some of you, but not all of you. So my name is Dina Holmes, and I am the director of the Bureau of Certification here at OASAS. And thank you for inviting me to meet you and talk to you today about some of the changes that have happened for the certification application process, and to talk a little bit about NICECON and the roles that you all play in the process for certification. So 2 years ago, actually, July of 2022, we stopped receiving and accepting paper copies of certification applications. We went to a fully electronic system called NICECON, which is New York State Electronics Certificate of Need. And it's really, we borrowed it, if you will, from the Department of Health. It's the platform that the Department of Health has used for many, many years. And it's a fully electronic system for submitting, reviewing, and corresponding on certification applications. You know, back in the day, before 2022, we used to receive giant boxes of reams and reams and reams of papers of applications, and sometimes the applicants would also send your office copies, but not always. And in those cases where they didn't send you guys a copy of the application, we would box it up and ship it off, and then you got a ton of paper. So it's really helped cut down on that, first and foremost. It's also been a really good way to communicate with all of the reviewing units, not just yourselves, but the OASAS regional office units, the facilities units, the applicants, obviously, our staff, our legal staff, in a centralized location where you could just log in, open up the application, read it. Who are they? What are they doing? From start to finish. So we started that a couple of years ago. And when we initially did that, we had sent out some information to all the LGUs to introduce the system and provide some instructions on how to obtain a NICECON account if you don't already have one. And if you already had one, how to link that account to the OASAS programs. So that's what we started to do a couple of years ago. And we've made a lot of progress. There's still some LGUs that are not yet in the system, and we continue to encourage and assist any of you who may not yet be linked into the NICECON system. I'm going to put in the chat, as I'm thinking about it, the certification email address so that you have it. And this is really just a resource for you if you ever have any questions at all about the certification application process, about NICECON, or anything related to certification. You can email this address. So it's certification@oasas.ny.gov. You know, if you need the instructions, if you need any information, please reach out. We'll set up a call. We'll walk you through the whole thing. And it's important to us that you all get on board with it because, you know, there's parts of the applications that we really need your input. So let me start a little bit at the beginning. And I'm sorry if this is redundant information for most of you. I'm not really sure how many are new, or, you know, how many people already know this. But prior consultations are something that happen before a certification application is submitted. You may be familiar with the form called 1A, prior consultation form 1A. That's a form that typically gets filled out by the provider applicant before or during those prior consultation meetings, and then it's circulated. You all sign it, you give it back to the applicant, and they submit that with their application. So one of your roles is on the front end. Before an application even comes in, the applicant and the OASAS regional office will reach out to you, schedule a meeting. And the purpose of that meeting is to allow the provider or the applicant to discuss the conceptual ideas of what they want to do, who they want to serve, any special populations. And it's a chance for a conversation to discuss need, to discuss location. Where is the program proposing to sit? Are there any potential community concerns? Provider concerns? All of those sort of things can get teased out at the front end. After that, the provider will submit the application in the NICECON system. We, certification department, will assign you as a review unit. So if the applicant happens to be in Montgomery County, we're going to assign the Montgomery County LGU as a review unit, which then gives you access to all of the documents in that application. It also allows you to correspond directly with us or the applicant, again, right through that system. The beauty of that is all the communication is contained within that certain application. You can, again, see live time, everything that's happening with that. The other important piece that we rely a lot on of you all is at the end, when we're ready to make a recommendation either for approval or disapproval. We're going to request from you a recommendation, and you may be familiar with the form called PPD 6. It's a LGU review recommendation form that we provide to you. We ask you to fill it out and upload it in NICECON, and that serves as your recommendation to approve or not approve of that. Any questions so far?
Hi, Dina. Margaret Morse here from Seneca. How are you?
Hi, good.
Is this all written somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'm going to try to share my screen for a second. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that.
I've actually been tasked with assisting to rewrite the DCS manual specifically around the OASAS piece and certification. So I'm working with Andrew on that. And so that would be really helpful to have either a link. Yeah, so I have.
Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay. So this is what I pulled up is the certification page on the OASAS website, oasas.ny.gov. You go over here to providers and workforce, certification, and it pulls up this page. When you scroll down, here's all of the NICECON information and links. Links to the instructions, links to all of the forms. We call them schedules, but they're the application forms themselves. You can open them up and see what they look like. This link will also take you directly to the NICECON system. Let me pull that up for you. So for resources, you want to go there. You see that? That's the NICECON homepage. One of the things that's something important just to know, because this is a common issue that comes up. You know, some LGUs have NICECON accounts because they make recommendations for DOH projects. But the important thing to know is that you have to link your HCS account to the OASAS programs. You have to affiliate with the OASAS programs. If you don't, you're not going to be able to access and see the OASAS applications. So this is the home page, right? I'm logged in. There's my name. There's my role. Yours would say, you know, LGU. And then you simply find a project. You put the number in. All projects have numbers. You search it. There it is. And then you can view it. And you can look through all these tabs, have all of the application documents right here, all the correspondence, everything. What's good too, just so you know, is once you're assigned as a review unit, you will receive emails, because you're a review unit, from NICECON alerting you that something has happened. Somebody made a recommendation, somebody uploaded a correspondent, somebody is requesting information. Those emails come from NICECON, not OASAS. So just know that. Sometimes they go to spam, so people have to adjust their settings. But you will receive all notifications on any application that your county is involved in directly from this system. What else can I answer for you guys?
Hi, good morning. This is Tara Karolewski from Erie County Department of Mental Health. I believe that the commissioner tends to get these notifications and then forwards them to me. But in the event that he is out on vacation or something like that, I'm actually the person for our county that reviews these. Is there a way to have a second person that gets flagged to get these emails, or can it only be to one person?
It can be to another person. What your director would need to do is assign you as a reviewer within that unit. It doesn't have to be just that person. They can assign their own staff as the backup.
Okay, thank you. Because I feel like I've tried to look in the system and tried to look for the applications before when I've received notices from Commissioner O'Brien, but then I can't see them necessarily, and I've had to work with OASAS to upload the PPD6s and things like that. So, okay, so that's great to know that I just need to ask him to assign me. Thank you so much.
Yep. And make sure, Tara, that your account is affiliated with OASAS programs.
Okay, thank you.
Dina, when you say your program, do you mean our LGU?
I do. I'm so used to
Okay.
talking to providers. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And there's instructions on how to specifically do that.
Yes. And if you have any trouble, don't get frustrated. Just email certification mailbox. Somebody will reach out to you, get on the phone with you, and share screens and do it with you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That may need to happen for me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, one of the things that we're trying to do is we have four review staff, and one of the things that we do right as soon as we get an application is we look to see, if the LGU in that county is assigned, and if not, we get right on the phone and we say, hey, let's get you guys enrolled, let's get you guys on board, and we're more than happy to schedule time to do that individually with everybody. Because it's easier to do that when you can, share screens and literally walk through the process other than explaining it, because everybody's busy and it's just easier to do it together.
That's great. Thanks so much, Dina.
Yeah. Any questions in general, maybe about the application process? Any specific questions about your roles, anything like that?
So Dina, if let's say the LGU does not support either on the front end or the back end, the application, is there outreach then from OASAS to the LGU to like have further conversations about that? Like what happens next?
Yes. So let's talk about it in the beginning stage, the front end. Usually on the front end, if there's opposition or hesitation, those reasons are explained to the provider, and it's usually come back to us with something. Do a better needs assessment, do your own outreach, get some community support, tell me why your services are unique and why we should entertain them. So there's usually a give me more information. Many times that results in you get the information. Sometimes providers go away. They realize that it's not going to be successful once they dig a little deeper into what it is that they want to do. So regardless, they always have a right to submit the application. I always tell providers, if you don't have support, it's going to be hard for me at the end of the day to make a favorable recommendation. So I put it back on them to say, go do a little more homework, or go get some more support, or help me help you at the end of the day get a favorable recommendation. On the back end, if you're doing your final review and you realize, this isn't what we talked about, things have changed drastically, you're going in a whole different direction than we thought you were, we get on the phone again, we pull the applicant in, we pull you in, we pull regional office, we have that conversation, and we kind of straighten it out. We always aim to either get approval, get a favorable recommendation, or if we can't, we try to talk to them about voluntarily withdrawing their application without prejudice, because then it's better for them and it's better for us to, not deny. Because honestly, if we deny, then there's an appeal process and it gets messy. So we really do try to avoid that, and there's certain applications that have to also get a recommendation from the Behavioral Health Advisory Council, the BSAC. Brand new applicants have to be presented to that committee, changes in ownership, capital projects. So there's 3 types of applications that go in front of the council, and that's a whole nother review body that has to make a recommendation as well. If you think of, as you as you develop that process, that manual, I'd be more than happy to get on a call again. I actually have I could share it with you. I have a certification manual that I've shared with staff. If you want, I could send you that.
That'd be
Ton
great.
of information in that. It's really, it describes the different types of applications. It describes your roles. It describes the staff's roles. You won't, obviously you won't, there's a lot of stuff in there that you won't need, but there might be some information that you could use.
Dina, would it make sense, or would you have any issue if it does make sense, would you have issue with us uploading that manual to the conference's website and then linking to that directly for new DCSs to review?
I would say the first thing that would happen with that is I would just have our counsel's office review it
Okay.
first, and maybe we would pare it down, maybe we wouldn't, but I'm sure we could work together to put something up that would be useful. That's really a good idea.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. So this way, what we're trying to do with our manual is make it less wordy and more resource rich, right? With links and places that people can go to already existing resources to learn and get their needs met. So that would be pretty
That
cool if
would
we
be
could.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks.
Sure.
This is Tara from Erie again. Sorry to have another question, but in our county, and because we haven't had too many applications really come through to this point where I need to review it, is there a function in the system to download a summary of what the application is on? And the reason that I'm asking that is because our Alcohol and Substance Abuse Committee, that's a subcommittee of our Community Services Board, we previously had reviewed all of the applications, the previous cons with our members, and they had also reviewed the application as well as providing some sort of recommendations or asking questions just because they're one of our advisory committees. And so that has been part of our process. And with this new system, I'm wondering if there is an easier way to provide some sort of summary or something that we can download, because previously I would make copies of all of the applications and each one reviewer would review it as well from front to back. So I'm trying to find an easier way to do it. What we initially spoke about doing was when an 1A came in, we would bring the applicant into our subcommittee and then they could review what the application was going to be about, what they tend to propose, which is a nice thing to do that as well. But just in context of working with the system, is there something that might be able to assist with that a little bit?
Yeah. So yes, all certification applications are summarized into a report. Right now, the process is that summary report is usually written and finalized after your recommendation and the regional office's final recommendation, so they can include those recommendations in their final summary report. But that said, it doesn't mean that they couldn't upload the summary that they have thus far and just leave those sections blank. So obviously we know we're waiting for that, but that might be helpful for you to just do a read narrative of all of the areas that we reviewed: need, character and competence, applicability, rules and regulations. You would really get a quicker summary of what we are looking to approve. That might be useful for you. I could talk to staff about changing our process to include that when they reach out to you for your recommendations. That might be a
Okay.
really good idea.
Yeah, that would be really helpful because we really value having the subcommittee provide their recommendations. And as we've talked about the system, I wasn't really certain how to do it. And again, because we really haven't received a lot of applications, I haven't been able to really get in there and see what was available. So yeah, thank you so much for that.
Yes, I wrote that down as my notes. to discuss internally with staff and looking at changing our process so that when they reach out to you for your review recommendation, they can attach the summary that they've completed thus far, realizing it's not complete, but it's everything up until that point that's been reviewed, to give you an idea of what's happening.
Thanks, Dina. I appreciate that.
Yep. I also just sent in link my email.
Thanks, got it.
Anybody else?
Dina, are the other people, some of the other people here, members of your team? Or are these all LGU? Just wondering, like,
Andrew Heck is on my team.
oh, I didn't see Andrew. Oh yeah, I see him. Okay, good. Yeah. It would be nice to meet the members of your team. Faces to names. I, of course, know Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, good morning.
So I'm going to ask Kristen actually to post in the chat the link to where you find the recordings to all of the regional abatement meetings. So we put these up in a pretty timely fashion after the meeting happens. So if for any reason you're not able to attend on a certain date or time, or you just want a refresher like the information Dina just gave, is probably like relevant at certain times and easy to forget. So you can always come back and take another look there. So this recording will be posted there shortly, probably within a week's time. And you can see all the other recordings there, but we're always happy to give you some of your time back. I'm sure many of you have full jam-packed days. So if we don't have any more questions, and then look for information on the August meeting. Like I said before, we will stay away from the third Wednesday at 9. We had sort of been asked to move the meeting around a little bit. We had, I want to say like Fridays at 1 or 2 were a time that we were at, but with the regional abatement, we do have some folks who would not necessarily be at work at that time, whether if they're working for cities or they work different shifts. So we did our best to accommodate that. But we're learning as we go. So if if nobody has any additional regional abatement questions or certification questions, we will end the recording and you can have 25 minutes back.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.